First is, I would say probably one of my all-time favorite albums. This is an album I heard back in the early 2000s. I want to say like 2001, 2002 is when I first came across this band. And when I heard it, it was just love instantly. I have really no other way to compare it or explain it. It was just, I fell in love with this band. And I've heard all of their albums since, and I don't own all of them, but I've heard them, and I have to say they are really just a band that just defines excellence. And at least in this particular case, a band that defines a cold, dark, wintry sound. So, as a result of that, this is an album that I've listened to just, I would say, every winter since I first got my hands on it. And the album in question here is Lycia's Cold. Lycia, in case you don't know, is basically a band that falls into the Darkwave genre. And, but I never personally really knew what defined the Darkwave sound exactly. And in the case of Lycia, there's actually quite a bit else going on in their sound. It's a very ethereal sound. It's there's some minuscule elements of like gothic rock and shoegaze in their music too. And of course, there's some dark ambient characteristics, at least in this particular album. The band was founded by Mike Van Portfleet in 1988. And originally as a duo with a guy named Will Welch, but shortly thereafter, Will left and a guy named John Fair stepped in. Then I believe Will came back and then left, and by that point I think they had released 2 albums. But the classic lineup of Lycia is basically Mike Van Portfleet, David Gallus, and Tara Van Flower. They all came into the band in the early 90s, around like 92 and 94, and that's considered the classic lineup. This is also a band that was probably I would have to think, one of the most iconic bands on the Project Records label and throughout the 90s. And although the band's still going nowadays, they had a brief break when they broke up around 2004, and they didn't reform again until like 2010, I think. And nowadays they're still going it. I believe it's just Tara and Mike that are doing the band. I don't think David Gallus is involved anymore, but I'd probably have to fact check that. So anyway, Lycia, they're a band that just really, at least in this particular record, really defines a cold, wintry sound. I mean, it's like lots of whispered vocals and backing female vocals and just shimmering, cold-sounding synths and echoey guitars and just really, it really just instantly, makes you think of just cold, dark, wintry landscapes. And that's the way I've always felt about this record. This is a record that I've loved, going on forests and listening to. I mean, I mean, back before like iPods and stuff like that, and all our phones having all this Spotify and stuff like that, I used to just load this album into like my portable CD Walkman and go walk through the forest with it. It's such a fucking magnificent album just for taking in those wintry landscapes and just really just immersing yourself in that kind of scene, And this album has this real kind of, I mean, it's weird because it has moments of like optimism, but it is definitely pretty dark and really kind of obscure and mysterious even at times. It's just a really fantastic atmosphere, and it's one of those records that, like I said, I've had for many years now and absolutely love and listen to it every winter. And considering we got our first major snowfall, guess what I did the other night when it was snowing? You got it. I went out and listened to Lycia's Cold. There's so many good songs in this album, but I'd probably have to say my favorite, and it's also the first song I ever heard from this project, is the second song in this album called Bear. It's on this song where you really get a good feel for the album, and you just you hear Tara's vocals for the first time. You get a real good. I don't know. It's just a very beautiful song. I don't know how else to put it. It's dark and melancholy, but there's still this sort of fleeting optimism with the song, and it's just, I don't know. I love this song so much, and I still have memories from way back in the early 2000s when I first heard this band, just driving around on snowy days and just listening to this album on repeat, basically. But for some reason, this particular song has always stuck with me as the best song on the album, and by far the best Lycia song too. So it's just a fantastic song. Also, another really good song is the third song called Baltica. This one has kind of, I guess, sort of this more, I guess I would say like kind of mysterious kind of vibe to it. I don't know how else to put it. It sounds like something is afoot, something not so good is going to happen. It's got that kind of vibe and atmosphere to it. Just really great song. Also another good one, just Snowdrop. Just, again, fantastic vocal work from Tara, and just super freaking dark song here. I love this song. I just love this whole album. it plays out perfectly, and it's just like I said earlier, it's one of those albums that's perfect for cold, wintry days. Just when the temperature drops, this is the album I always get out, and have been getting out for many years now. So pretty much give the highest recommendation from this one. This is if this is what Darkwave is supposed to sound like, then this is Darkwave perfected here, and this is just a fantastic, stunning album, and doesn't get much better than this. I mean, there's a reason why this band was one of the hottest bands on the Project record label back throughout the 90s, because this is Darkwave music, gothic music, whatever you want to call it, just perfect. It's a fantastic record. Lycia's Cold. So we'll look at the booklet, the inserts then. So this is the original pressing that was released on Project Records in the mid-90s. 1996, I believe this record came out. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'll probably feel stupid if I got the wrong date there. But I believe it came out in 1996. So there's the back cover, and you can kind of see it has this sort of like out of focus kind of theme to the photography and the artwork of the album. Here's the CD. Yeah, I mean, it's really cool. I mean, it's always this, snowy landscapes out of focus. It's really cool. I like the way they did it. You just, you don't really see that many albums with this kind of look to it, I guess. But it's a cool aesthetic. I like it a lot. So, I mean, the booklet's got the lyrics and stuff like that, all that kind of good stuff. Snow, so much snow. Love it. Bring on the snow, let it snow, let it snow. No band photos, unfortunately, but that wasn't really a thing they necessarily did with a lot of their albums. There wasn't really many band photos usually. So yeah, that's Lycia's Cold. This is the original pressing. The album has been re-released a few times since the mid-90s. I know it's been remastered, but to be honest with you, I don't really find anything wrong with the original sound of the album. In fact, I would argue it doesn't even need to be remastered, but I have heard the remaster, and I didn't notice anything too significantly different, but maybe someone that has a better ear could tell you differences. I don't know. I think the original pressing's fine as far as the sound and everything, and it's, as I said before, one of my favorite Darkwave albums, and absolute must-hear if you're into that sort of thing, and highest recommendation for me. Lycia's Cold once again.